basically, the longer the distance is between safe crossing opportunities, the more likely you are as a pedestrian to cross mid-block, because at some point, especially, if you're dealing with inclement weather or you're physically not as able as, the average pedestrian, it's not viable for you to walk to the nearest traffic signal. So that's one of the reasons you see more mid-block crossings at the more suburban context where the signals are farther apart. The other factor is mid-block crossings are happening in the more sort of denser parts of the city as well, but when collisions happen, they don't result in fatalities or even serious injuries because they're happening at lower speeds, because the roads aren't as fast. We are trying to separate users by time and space. When I say space, it's, pedestrians are in sidewalk, cyclists are in their bike lanes, drivers are in the lane, but there are times where they mix, whether because there's no sidewalk or as a pedestrian is crossing the road. Those are the times where users come into conflict with another. And we try to separate them by time as well. So that's a traffic signal. So where you try to, give dedicated right of way to pedestrians versus cyclists versus drivers. But even that isn't always practical. So, you might have a traffic signal where the pedestrian has a walk signal and is crossing, but then turning vehicles also have what we call permissive left turn, which means, as a driver, you're waiting, you find a gap in traffic, you turn left at the same time as pedestrians are crossing. So those are some of the times where there's still conflict between different road users. So collisions happen because there's conflict. An older pedestrian or older cyclist or even an older driver, when they are involved in a collision and impact, you are more susceptible to being injured and suffering more seriously from those injuries. We have done a bit of looking into whether there's also a relationship between, older adults getting involved in collisions in the first place because of their, reaction time and or decision reaction time. Haven't found much of a relationship there. So it's not like, older adults aren't making the right decisions or different decisions than younger road users are. In most instances, it's mostly that when there is a collision with an older adult, you're more likely to hear about it because they're the ones that result in serious injuries.